Christian Pulisic then getting all the headlines. Wasn't in the game tonight for the United States against Japan, but Tyler Adams was. He's standing by right now with our Alexis Nunes. Alexis.
Yeah, thanks, Sebi. We've got Tyler who's here putting on a brave face, of course. We know it was a frustrating result, Tyler. We heard from Greg, and he said what he wanted was a bit more personality. How do you take that, and what made it difficult to not show up with the personality we usually see you guys with?
No, it's definitely a tough one to take. I mean, you come here wanting to treat it like a group stage game of the World Cup in preparation for the World Cup, and we didn't reach our standard today at the end of the day. We faced a talented team, but in the end, it felt like we almost played into their hands. We had a little bit of frustration seep in, and you could just tell the team was off. A little late to tackles, late receiving the ball, finding solutions, being dangerous and creating chances like we normally do. So it's a learning experience at the end of the day, and something that we got to take on the chin for the next game.
And of course, credit to Japan, as you said, a very talented team that took their chances. Definitely. You guys, of course, had the frustrations. Was there a bit of rust involved? A bit of kind of getting back together, getting the gang back together and flowing? Is there?
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to give credit to Japan. They're such a talented team. I've played against a bunch of those guys in the Bundesliga before, and they have quality all over the field, and they showed it tonight. So credit to their game plan. It worked, but it didn't feel like we executed our match plan going into the game. And at the end of the day, we can't just start to waver and do our own things and allow individuality to creep into the team. We need to stick together as a team at the end of the day, and we didn't do that.
And then looking at the stats, of course, with the U.S. playing away from home, it doesn't look too pretty, of course. I think it's like about 1 in 10 wins.
Okay.
Now that you're going away, you have a whole tournament away from home. You have these warm-ups away from home. How'd you guys, remedy that? Is that a bit of a concern?
No. I mean, we even felt a little bit of the support today from our fans. So we're not.
They showed up.
Yeah, for sure. And we didn't even really think about that. That's the first time I heard that statistic. But away games are never easy in general. But when you go to a World Cup, everyone's playing away at the end of the day. So we just have to deal with that as it comes. But again, learning experience. We have to build on it.
Yeah, everyone says that you learn a bit more from a loss than you do from 100%. A win. Saudi Arabia next. Of course, everyone would pick the U.S. favorites for this one. How'd you guys regroup, get in the right mental state for that one?
We never want to go into a game thinking that we're the favorites. We've had this underdog mentality for a long time now. Playing Saudi Arabia, we again know they have quality, another World Cup opponent as well. So we have to bring our A game. We need a better performance than what we reached today.
Tyler, thanks so much. See you Tuesday.
You're welcome. Yeah, see you Tuesday.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Alexis. Thanks to Tyler Adams as well out there in Dusseldorf after the U.S. Loses 2-0 to Japan. Some interesting comments there from Tyler. He said they didn't reach our standard. He also talked about the underdog mentality. What'd you make of it?
He also mentioned that they wanted
to say this. I love Tyler Adams. I love, that kid from the time he was 16 talked like a captain, and every time he just says exactly what you want to hear.
Told me to F off when he was 16, and I was on the field.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, on the field. But that's when I knew he was special.
Well, how special am I then? If that's all it takes.
They wanted to treat this like a group.
Yeah, World Cup group phase
game. That's the performance you put out. The mentality was to treat this like a group phase game.
I'm seeing your 1 to 10 start at a 6. I'm seeing it grow throughout the show.
Well, because the player's missing. But Tyler Adams won't be missing.
Right.
And for Tyler Adams, and I know his blood is boiling, and that's what I love about him, to hear his coach say they were lacking personality, I feel like Tyler Adams, in his head, thinks he's the true captain of this team, the true leader of this team, and he is boiling by the remarks because in his head, Tyler Adams doesn't think he got these men ready. He got these players ready.
You think he thinks it's on him as a leader?
Absolutely. I remember the old Max and Herc podcast.
Yes, yep.
We interviewed him in a media day. I interviewed him by myself, and we had a discussion. And it was 2017 Open Cup final, I believe, New York Red Bulls versus Kansas City in Kansas City. And I'm calling the game for Deportes, and here's this Tyler Adams kid who's 16 years old, and he's literally telling his teammates to pick it up, literally telling his teammates, you need to be better, like in their face while they're down. And I asked him about it, and he's like, it's my responsibility, regardless of age, to get these guys ready, to know they're up for the moment, because they can't let themselves down. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what is this kid on? But I love that mentality. So I know he'll feel slighted by it.
Speaking of mentality, he used the word underdog mentality. The U.S. never sees themselves as a favorite. Is that necessarily a good thing? Aren't there some games you want to say, no, we are the favorite. We need, the onus is on us. Like, we're the team.
What have you done to prove you're the favorite? Did you go to the last World Cup?
Well, but that's 4 years ago. You have to look at the matchups today, where they are today.
Did you win the World Cup cycle?
You have to.
How many games have you won away from home?
So you think the U.S. will just play reactive soccer the entire World Cup, just sit back and relax, not going to try to be the favorite, the protagonist? I mean, at some point, the U.S. will need to.
England?
Against Wales? I mean, Wales plays very defensive. If Wales and the U.S. both sit back, it's going to be a really boring game.
There are games, right? There are games.
I mean, you can't go at Iran. You don't think that's? I mean, you're going to have to.
Iran.
I'm not underestimating.
I would say
but
the team you can probably dictate
you have to
more
win.
pace.
You have to score and win to get out of the group phase. You can't just play 0-0.
I'm not saying play 0-0, Seb, but this arrogance is very American. The American arrogance of. But I will go back to what have you done to prove that you can play this way? I mean, Japan just played you off the field in a neutral site, just bullied and bodied you all up and down the field. And now you're going to go into a game versus Wales and think that you're going to dictate the game, the play. Manage expectations. Be better so you don't have to be in a situation where you're chasing the game, but by no means come in with this arrogance because you're American. You need to be at a world level.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.